Howdy, 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 all you cool cats and kittens. It's been a minute, and by a minute, I mean it's been 2 weeks, but here we are. Finals are almost over.
Congrats.
Thanks. And we're ready to be making some more friends and catching more fish and stuff.
Yeah. Let's talk about what we've been focusing on, or just do a full recap of everything that we are, since it's been so long.
Yeah, what are we?
We're Stardew Valley Tools Aren't Real Edition. We are playing Stardew Valley without using any tools. So we finished the community center in fall of year 2. We're now in winter of year 2 and working towards perfection. We know that we won't be able to finish everything that is involved with Stardew Valley perfection without tools, but we're going to get as close as we can. So right now, Jared's focusing on making full friends with everybody. What was the other thing you just said?
Catching the rare fish.
Catching all the legendary fish. There's 5 of them, and you've caught 3? 2?
I think I've caught 3. Yeah, is there somewhere I can check that actually?
Yeah, if you open up like your inventory, then go to collections, then fish.
Okay. Glacier fish is definitely one. Angler was one. There was one other one. It's interesting that they're not like organized in a specific order.
Yeah, I would have thought the legendary ones would be last.
Okay, I want to say maybe the midnight carp was one. That doesn't sound quite right though.
I don't remember. Yeah, anyone in the chat, do you know what the 5 legendary fish are?
Crimson fish, that was it.
Nice. Okay. Never mind, false alarm. We know a few things.
We know 3 of the 5 legendary fish.
Okay, so Jared's working on friendship and legendary fish. I am just working on scaling up our money-making operations. So we've got this greenhouse that's just full of starfruit now. And we've got some kegs and preserves jars going in a shed. And we're just working on, increasing how much money we can get, which will help with a lot of things, but mostly with getting the special buildings that the wizard sells. So there's like 4 obelisks and a golden clock that we need. But Barma says, "Here, not a tool. Here, good boy." That is our dog's name, not a tool. And Megan in the chat says, "Angler, crimson fish, glacier fish, mutant carp, and legend."
Mutant carp? Oh, I probably got to go into the sewer to get that one. I should probably get down there and do that then. Berkeley, I wish that we could give money as gifts to people and bribe them to like us.
You can in real life.
Of course, that's how we're friends, but... All right, it's time to look up how to catch the mutant fish, because some of them have a specific place you have to stand to do it. So,
yeah.
Let's check.
One other strategy that we talked about last time that I want to bring up is that we are using pigs to get truffles to make a lot of our money. And someone pointed out that if we plant a bunch of forageable seeds, so like the winter seeds, spring seeds, summer seeds, or fall seeds, we can level up our foraging to level 10, and at that point all of the truffles would be iridium quality, which will help us make a ton of money. So just want to mention that. I'm planting all our winter seeds right now. We only had 8, but hopefully in the future seasons we can get more of those forageables and get that XP.
Excellent.
Megan says the wiki has a chart on the perfection page of that fish collections image, all filled out with the names of the fish, so you don't have to guess which ones you're missing. Ooh, nice. And she says just stand right there for the mutant carp. I assume that means where you're standing right now.
Yeah, probably. Ooh, I got a white algae. That doesn't seem like it would be good to eat.
No. Well, actually, it does give you some energy.
But should it when it's covered in sewage?
Good question.
And a green algae. It's just going to be algae. More algae. Oh boy.
Oh, she says you need to cast all the way to get the mutant carp on the
okay.
hook. There's a maybe. Yeah, there's a maybe in there. A maybe and an I think. So 2 grains of salt there for you. I would love to make some more kegs, and we've got some oak resin. I think we just need iron bars and copper bars for that.
Berkeley, do we need to look into paying Megan in the chat for her coaching?
Yes, we do need to look into that. Megan in the chat, what are your rates?
Oh, I got it. Let's see. I got a treasure also. This one is a lot easier than the ice glacier fish. Look at that mutant carp. Oh, it's a little scary looking. It kind of looks... I've never actually watched this movie, but I've seen like pictures of it. The Mask. I think it's Jim Carrey, and he's all like green and bald.
I haven't seen it. I don't know. Megan in the chat says we can't afford her. That's fair. In order to make more kegs, we need more wood and more iron.
Okay.
I think it's too late today, but tomorrow in game, do you mind if I buy some?
Please feel free.
For copious cash.
Yeah, we've got 129,145 gold.
That was a little shocking to see when I when the game first started and it like tallied up to that. I've been playing a lot with my daughter. My daughter's 3 and she loves watching me play Stardew Valley. But I have to do everything that she wants to do, which means that we mine every single day and talk to people, and that's it. Which are not very profitable things to do. So no. I'm used to like scrounging by on my 1,500 gold. So watching that number tally up to 129,000 was it was nice.
Would you say that it was oddly satisfying?
Yeah, it was oddly satisfying.
I've dropped some copper off in the normal chest, by the way.
Cool, thanks. Actually, I should probably stop smelting this copper because we might need it for bombs more than we need it for anything else. Yeah, I've got 22 copper bars on me, but only 2 iron bars, so definitely need more of that.
I wish there was a bank in this game that we could invest in and earn interest on our savings.
Well, I mean, a lot of the income methods in this game are compounding.
That's true.
You can buy more animals, buy more seeds. It's not like totally passive income, but it's close. Crab pots.
Yeah, those are actually all good examples of a system that hasn't been tinkered with by the wealthy until it's only possible to just scrape by no matter what you're doing. I've been getting a lot of like farmer shorts in my... I don't have TikTok, but I do watch YouTube shorts. And I'm getting a lot of like... It's like a farming podcast where they talk about how much money it takes to get started in farming and not be in debt. And it is so expensive to farm. It's crazy. And like...
Yeah, like the whole premise of farming is you start by getting you like start by getting super into debt, right? And
yeah.
Then just hope that you can make more than you owe.
Yeah, and like I think it's kind of set up that way. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist guy, but as a bank, you make money by getting people in debt to you. Mm-hmm. So,
I mean, if farming does have a lot of inherent upfront costs, so I feel like it doesn't need to be a conspiracy to be that way.
That's true, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of money in farming, but it's all tied up in hardware and land, right? And the land, yeah, you can't really get around that. There's a finite amount of land, but the hardware, that has to be priced by a finance guy or a executive somewhere that does the math and says, yeah, we can sell it for this much. And they'll pay because they have to. And that's kind of not super cool as far as like civilization making progress and not having social strata problems. But anyways, back to the world of Stardew Valley, where farming is free if you have a grandpa.
A grandpa who dies and gives you all his land.
If you have a weird grandpa.
And who continues to coach you from beyond the grave.
That is something I haven't seen yet, and I would love to see that.
We're getting close. It's the first day of year 3 that you meet Grandpa's ghost.
Do we have to clear a path to his little shrine to get there?
Yeah, we should do that.
Okay.
You'll probably get a cutscene either way, but I actually don't remember the mechanics of how that goes. Well, Jared, are you ready for some trivia?
I am so ready for some trivia. Of all the things I've been thinking about lately, Stardew Valley has not been one. So it's going to be a lot of swinging and missing today, I think.
Okay, well, today's not going to be a quiz. Like the last 2 times we streamed, I've just got some interesting mods to share with everyone.
Okay.
Hopefully people aren't bored of that. And if you are, this will be the last time. So just hang in there. Next time we'll be back with another game show style. So 2 times ago we did like new gameplay mods that add interesting elements to the game. Last time we talked about UI mods that just change the sprites of people or of the landscape. Today we're talking about silly mods that are just gags. So got a list of a few here.
I love being silly. I'm so excited for this. I can hardly wait.
Jared, you've never once been silly in your life. Why would you lie to the people right now?
I can't believe you said that with a straight face. At least it sounded like a straight face.
All right. Oh my gosh, look at that. 16,000 gold from farming alone. This is beautiful.
Dang, those starfruit.
Yeah.
We're in the right business.
Mm-hmm.
It helps that I don't have to pay my farmhand.
Well, we share a bank account, so I don't know how much that's actually helping. Okay, so mods. The great thing about Stardew Valley mods, I don't know if this is true for every game, but the names, especially of the silly ones, are just so literal. So I don't even need to describe these ones. Mod number 1, Linus is a Yeti. That's the mod. It's just what it says on the tin. The creator advertised it as like, what if there was a reason that people are mean to him and that he's an outcast? Instead of just being bullied, he's just like, a mysterious mythical figure.
Wow.
Sorry, that came out harsher than I wanted it to.
Really?
We don't need reasons to bully Linus. We love Linus. But
it would sure make me feel better about the valley if I knew that people weren't just needlessly mean to him. Right, at least there's some reason, albeit, unnecessary.
My headcanon is that he just smells really bad, and that's the only catch to his whole lifestyle. But that doesn't actually jive very well with some of the dialogue we see. I think there's like Robin and maybe a couple other people have dialogue where it seems like they are only vaguely aware of his existence, which just feels very strange to me.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of ties in with the idea that like everything we're seeing on the screen is just a representation of what's really there. So like the distances are all going to be bigger than what we see. So Linus's little hut where it is, or his little tent where it is in reality probably a lot more secluded than how it seems.
Okay, that's fair.
Kind of a stretch.
Yeah. All right. Next one, Pam as a horse. Now,
What?
this one, the name does have some ambiguity. It makes it sound like they turned Pam into a horse. They did not. They turned your horse into Pam.
Whoa.
Just for anyone curious about that.
You can make Pam carry you around and run around the town?
Yeah.
I need this in my life, Berkeley. That is so silly.
And it's still horse shaped. It's just like it's Pam's face and Pam's clothes.
Okay, that is starting to like bridge the gap into Herson territory.
If you want to dive into Herson territory, check out the podcast Choose a Choice that Jared and I were both on. Jared created a grotesque fictional character called Kentucky Slim, who was of the Herson race.
It's like a horse person without a neck or head. The face is just right on the jelly bean shaped body of the horse. And I have to say, Kentucky Slim would swipe right on Pam as a horse.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I can see that. I ship it. All right. This one was so delightful to me. Corona comes to Stardew Valley.
Oh no. Wait, the beer or the virus?
The virus.
Okay.
So people aren't actually getting sick from what I read. It's just some of the dialogue just mentions coronavirus as a current event. The one example that they gave was Emily was talking about how it's kind of hard to live with Haley because she doesn't do chores, which is like an actual dialogue that exists in the game. But then they just tacked on at the end. Plus, she never shuts up about coronavirus.
Oh boy.
It just felt very cathartic. It's the right time for, in my opinion. Like 2 years ago would have been way too soon. I would not have appreciated that joke. But today, heck yeah, I'm ready. Bring on the jokes. Any thoughts about that before I give the last one?
I just felt like, that's really funny, but it's kind of lazy writing also. So in my head, I was like, the SpongeBob scene where Squidward's taking the dude's order and the dude is just ordering what he always gets, and Squidward's like, daring today, aren't we?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just funny that it's just like comma and then they just tack it on to the pre-existing dialogue. Anyways.
And that one might have been a bad example. That's the only one I saw.
No,
maybe
no,
some of them were a little more creative.
It's good. It's just, it's like that one example is just a little low effort, which is fine. It's still entertaining.
That's fair. Okay, help me with some quick maths. I have enough oak resin to make 8 kegs.
Okay.
Each keg needs 30 wood. So 8 times 3 is
240.
Okay, thanks.
Well, 8 times 3 is 24. And
Right.
I did 8 times 30. Sorry.
Now that times 50.
Oh boy. What would that be? That would be 48. Nope.
12,000. Are we okay with 12,000
Yeah,
gold?
that's
on wood?
correct. Yeah, spend it.
Okay.
We're not getting any younger. We gotta live it up while we're still here. Asmodeus, or is it Asmodeus? He wants an iridium bar. I don't think we have that.
Yeah, we don't have a way to get that. Unless you want to try the skull cavern. We haven't spent a lot of time in there.
That would be fun. I could hone my combat skills.
Yeah, pack some bombs and head out.
I will need to blow some cash on bombs first. I think I'll continue fishing for today, and maybe tomorrow we'll head out there.
Okay.
Wait,
Fair
does
enough.
the bus goes every day, right?
Yes. Yeah, only till like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. To depart, you can return at any time.
Okay.
But yeah, it's every day of the week.
Does Elliot like beach themed things?
I think so. I feel like I've given him like shells and stuff that I've picked up off the ground before. I don't know if he would like fish, but like the stuff you forage on the beach, I think he enjoys.
Okay. I gave him a nautilus shell and he said, "Oh, a present. Thank you." Which is kind of like, I don't know. Whenever somebody like says what you're doing as you do it, it means they didn't expect it. and or they feel negative and they're trying to like divert away from.
Yeah, I can't remember if that is his neutral dialogue or his like dialogue. It's hard to tell with him. He says marvelous for something. That might just be for loved gifts.
Berkeley, we can buy fish tanks. Should I get one and put all the legendary fish into it?
Sure. Yeah. Does it say how many fish it holds?
It doesn't, but Google probably. Wait, fish are double bed? Oh, that's just a regular bed. I thought it was a bed for fish for a second, and I was pretty excited.
Fish themed human bed.
All right.
And the last mod I want to bring up. Oh wait, did you have another urgent, time-sensitive question?
No, I do not.
Okay. Yeah, let's start with maybe one large fish tank, and then we can get more if it runs out of space.
Okay.
I'm guessing each small fish tank holds 2 fish, and each large one holds 4 fish, but I don't know.
This one holds up to 3 fish.
What? That's not even an even number. Why would what?
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
No. But I'm buying it.
Okay.
Anyways, tell us about this mod.
So this is actually a series of mods. We've joked about Grandpa's bed. Well, actually, we mostly joked about Grandpa's hand on the stream. It's a little clenching that he does in the opening cutscene to this game. If you're not familiar, if you haven't seen the opening cutscene, it starts off. Well, at some point in the opening cutscene, your grandpa is lying in a bed, and the bed is just really weirdly animated. The proportions are wrong. The details are weird. The creator of the game later said that this was like the last thing that he did on the game. He just kind of threw it in at the end.
And boy, does it show.
It, and wanted to go back and fix it, but it was just so... the community loves to hate it, so he couldn't take it away. And so now there's a big series of mods that just make the bed better or worse. There's one that makes it better, and then a bunch that make it worse. So one is just called, I think it's just called Slightly Worse Grandpa's Bed, where they just made like the leg that was too short, they made it a little bit lower. Changed a couple details like that. There's one where the bed is just missing and Grandpa's laying on the floor. If you've seen
what? It's like you walked in on like a murder scene, and instead of like trying to give him first aid or something, you're just...
Yeah, he's laying on his side. I think it's like a Family Guy reference that is maybe a popular meme. I didn't recognize it, but one of the characters is laying on their side because they just got killed. He's in that pose.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's one where Grandpa is the bed. Very similar to Pam as a horse.
Pam as the horse is in the bed. I love it.
Yeah, it's a bed-shaped grandpa. And then the last one, Grandpa's in the bed, and the bed has a little net across it, and Evelyn and maybe George are playing ping pong on the bed.
Oh boy.
As wow. Grandpa is reading you his last will and testament. So those are silly Stardew Valley mods. If you have any favorite silly mods or any other mods, let us know in the chat.
Berkeley, this fish tank looks so cool at night because it glows slightly.
Oh, you put it in front of the fireplace?
I did not have another place to put it unless you can rotate them.
Super fair.
Can I move it?
I'm just curious if the fish tank is actually glowing or if it's the fire glowing through the fish tank.
It is the fish tank.
Cool.
And I can still move it, so we're good. Unlike this stupid drum block, man. Oh, man. Okay, I love all those mods. And you know what? That's a great place to start because it's simple. You're just remaking one art and then putting it in. That's a good way to go. Oh, hey, it's you.
Babarma says he looked for mods on Steam and couldn't figure it out. So the way that I know of doing it, there's there's a site called Nexus Mods that distributes most of the most popular Stardew Valley mods. So you have to go there and download some source code, and then there's a program called SMAPI, SMAPI, that you have to run. You start SMAPI, you tell SMAPI what mods you want to run, and then you start your game, and SMAPI like interfaces between the mods and the game and makes sure that all the code is running. So it's not like some games where you can load mods through the actual game UI, and I don't think that they distribute any through Steam. You have to download them from Nexus and then use SMAPI to run them.
It's complicated, but it's not the worst complicated I've ever seen on video game modding. If you really want to hate yourself, trying to mod GTA 5 is terrible.
Oh, really?
I've never tried to actually modify it, but like loading the mods, you have to go download like random people's executables, and it's just not, it doesn't make me feel happy feelings. Rasmodius says, greetings, young adept. I've enclosed in this package an item of arcane significance. Use it wisely. Fire quartz. Thanks. Anyways.
Sell it. Just kidding. You can do whatever you want. I just thought that would be a funny thing to do if someone specifically told you to use a gift wisely.
Immediately sell it. We have 10 over here in our little pile.
Yeah, I don't think we really need them for anything.
Okay. They're going to be sold then.
Okay.
One more thing real quick, Brickley.
Yeah.
Can I use all this ore and coal to make bombs?
Don't use any iron ore, but the copper, yeah.
Okay.
Or if you want iron ore, I can go buy some. I need to buy some anyway.
I need to buy some copper too, so I can go get it if you want, unless you're already on your way.
I have a ton of geodes in my inventory, but I guess let's just both go.
Okay.
You can go do what you want, and I'll go do it. It's right next to the minecart station, so it's easy to get there.
Berkeley, can I ambush you with an AI headline and then get your unthought out take on it?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Let me do this while we wait for Clint to open shop. Okay, so for those of you not aware, after the release of GPT-4, which is, I believe that's OpenAI's latest model.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of CEOs and other notable people came out saying, hey, we need to stop development of AI, specifically of like the kind they're working on right now, and think more about the risks before we continue, because we are quickly approaching some threshold that we don't necessarily understand. And that's all fine and good, but the BBC has an article headlined, AI godfather Geoffrey Hinton tells the BBC of AI dangers after he quits Google. And I read the text article. I'm not finding it right now. All I can find is a link to the video, but basically his take was that GPT-4 is reaching a point where it might eclipse human understanding or capability. I understand that that's sensationalist, but adding to that a bunch of other people have recently said, hey, we need to stop doing this for a while or pause it to analyze what's going on here. Does that give you any sort of concern as somebody who's, built algorithmic learning models?
Yeah, good question. So I think it's unfortunate that the news about this is so sensationalized, because there are legitimate concerns, but whatever you read in the news is skewed, right? Like when all those CEOs got together to write that letter, it just happened to mostly be the CEOs of companies who were behind in the AI race, saying, "Hey, we need to slow down," which I like is suspicious because there's obviously ulterior motives there, or possible ulterior motives there. I saw that article that you mentioned with the Godfather of AI. I had never heard of that person, so I didn't actually go and read that article. I don't know what that person's specific concerns were.
Yeah.
But there are for sure real, valid, troubling concerns, and so it sucks that there's really complex issues going on here, and the news sensationalizes it, so it's hard to see what the actual issues are. So I'll start with that caveat. I'm not like blaming anyone. That's just like an unfortunate part of our society today. Before GPT-4, I would have said that the main concern that I was worried about was economic impact. We've talked about this quite a bit on the stream, but one unfortunate thing about AI is that it's mostly going to profit people who are already doing well, and it's mostly going to hurt people who are not doing well economically right now. And I think income inequality is already one of the biggest issues in America today, and AI is going to make it worse, and that is a bummer. Now that GPT-4 is out and I've seen what it can do, it outperforms lawyers at some lawyer tasks. It outperforms doctors at some doctor tasks. It outperforms programmers at some programmer tasks. It's like there's things humans can do that it can't do, but it seems like it can do more than the average human can.
Yeah.
Unless you, depending on how you weight things like have a genuine relationship and jump rope. So yeah, now there's a bunch more like beyond the economic concerns. I think there's a lot of like philosophical and social concerns that I'm worried about, and I don't think I'm uniquely qualified from like studying AI to be worried about those things. We've all like watched the scary AI movies and read the scary AI books and thought about the dystopian things that can happen with AI, and more of those are becoming realistic faster than I would like. And so it would be awesome to like slow down, have some ethicists, have some lawyers sit down and like draw lines around what we collectively will and will not do. But I don't know how to make that happen or what that would look like.
Yeah, that's an interesting. So I took a engineering ethics course last semester, and one of the things that they really emphasized was a specific document. I am blanking on the name right now. Berkeley, real quick, this looks like a hole. I'm assuming if I jump into it, I get hurt, and that's not a good thing to do.
It might hurt you a little bit, but it's probably a good thing to do. It's like a ladder, but it goes multiple levels.
All right.
And it's a random number of levels, and if it's like more than 8, then it hurts you. So it's a good way of like getting to the better levels faster.
Okay. They emphasize that certain engineering organizations, they're not really governing bodies, but it's like an association of engineers and important people and all that fun stuff, get together and they adopt ethical standards to outline or to govern what members of the organization will and won't work on and how they use their engineering skill. And trying to reach a consensus, just talking about general ethics in the class was difficult. I mean, there's basic stuff like don't run people over, but then if you put yourself in a situation talking about automated vehicles where somebody has to get run over, there's been a mechanical failure or a software failure and the system needs to make a decision, it becomes much harder to gain consensus on those types of choices. So I guess, do you think that it's possible even to do that with AI? Because the other advantage of AI is that you can see that the engineers are trying to give AI certain ethics by helping them not talk about certain things that they shouldn't. But those are features that you could easily strip away if you paid for a certain version and then use to do engineering or other types of analysis that isn't ethical. And because it's not a person, they can't say no and quit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, sorry, but do you think it's possible to reach a consensus that companies will actually stand by?
Reaching a consensus, I think yes. I think it'll take time. Like with any new technology, people have an adjustment period. Like when people started writing novels, people complained that novels were like immoral because they were not academic enough.
Yeah.
So like there's always a learning period where we all collectively figure out what we're okay with. As far as making companies stick with those standards, I don't know if I believe that we can get any company to stick with any standards.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are states rolling back child labor laws right now, which I thought were the least controversial laws. So yes to us collectively, and then hopefully that translates to good enforceable laws
Down the
without
road.
us relying on companies to do the right thing.
Yeah. I'm glad you included enforceable because that is the big caveat to a lot of laws out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool, looks great on paper. You can't enforce it. It's just too expensive or difficult or unclear. Anyways, okay, cool. Well, thanks for...
Real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I just need to share a hilarious joke that Sinus Relief shared. Earlier I said that GPT does better than lawyers at some lawyer tasks. And so they said, lawyer task sounds like a vague chat GPT type term. Is Berkeley GPT? No, you can see my face. So at the very most, I'm GPT plus Dolly working real fast. I just created 4 more kegs. So we've got lots of starfruit wine coming. It's in the pipeline. And I'm selling, I think, our first starfruit jelly right now.
Berkeley, I got the absolute crap kicked out of me and died.
Oh, gee.
So...
How did that go? I can't believe I was just like talking while you died.
Oh, no, it's fine. I just... You know, I'm not good at fighting yet. I gotta get good.
What is your combat level?
It's probably like 1. How do I look at my levels? There it is. Combat 9.
Well, it's almost as good as it gets. So
yeah.
And you've got the galaxy sword. I guess we'll have to tag team it. I think that'll be the solution. We'll not tag team. We'll just go together, whatever that's called.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. That's a good idea. Berkeley, I don't know if you wanted to jump into something else, but just the idea of getting companies to adopt certain ethical standards kind of segues into a conversation we were having about privacy and trust.
Yeah. So let me give a little background on this. Utah passed a law recently, the state where I live, passed a law that websites that serve mostly adult content need to collect ID information, like a picture of a driver's license or something like that, to verify that the users are over 18. And a notable adult content website said, okay, we'll just block all traffic from Utah then, because we don't want to comply with that law, which I think was a pretty predictable outcome. I don't want to get too into the details of that specific case, but it got me thinking about like trust on the internet in general, because I think it has some interesting problems. At the root of what Utah was trying to do was like say that it's important to trust that people are who they say they are on the internet, which I think is like, it gets dismissed because it's really hard to do, but I think that is actually a decent goal, especially on social media. Like if you could guarantee that everyone that you were talking to was not a troll in a Russian troll farm trying to like sow discord in the United States, that would be cool. Or like guarantee that the people you were talking to weren't working for a company trying to sway your opinion, or that they were who they were saying to be, basically. I think that there'd be a lot of benefits to that. On the other hand, I definitely don't trust Facebook to like have my driver's license. I don't trust them to have my phone number, because they've had leaks in the past where they like gave away people's phone numbers. So those are like two competing ideals there. I don't want to trust the companies, but I do want to trust the people using those social media websites. And it reminded me of a topic that I learned about in school called a web of trust, or distributed trust is another phrase for that. So these are systems where instead of like one central entity, for example, Facebook, instead of one entity like telling you who you can trust and who you can't, maybe with like a blue verified check mark, you trust people based on what other people say about them. So there's a lot of different ways that could work, but one common approach that people talk about would be to have users like certify each other. So an example of that would be if I start a social media site and Jared joins. I know Jared personally, so Jared would text me and say, "Hey, I joined your site. Can you certify me?" And I would do that. And I would then Jared would presumably certify his friends, and so on and so forth. And it wouldn't just be binary like that. It's not like you're certified or you're not, because that would have issues. But maybe you would have a certain threshold where until someone gets certified by 10 people, they're not allowed to post. Or maybe there's a score by everyone's name. And there's a lot of cool applications of that. You don't need to just like trust people based on the number of certifications they have. You can also do it based on like how indirect those certifications are. So for example, if Jared added one of his friends that I don't know, that would be like that would be two people away from me, from someone that I know in person. Or I guess one person away from someone that I know in person. If that person added a bunch of randos, then that's two away from me. And so I would trust those certifications a little bit less. And so you can imagine a social media site where everyone has a score on like how many people have certified them and how indirect those certifications are from you personally. Hopefully not so that you'll like judge them more harshly, but just so that you will take what they're saying with a grain of salt. Maybe that would change like how stuff shows up in the algorithm. I don't know. It's not a perfect system. There's like a lot of practical issues with it, but it's a cool idea, and I don't know if it's been tried at scale. So I wanted to bring that up. Do you have any initial thoughts on that?
So the obvious challenge, and you kind of addressed this already, but the reason that internet identity is such a, or anonymity is such a, I just sold back a ton of ore that I just bought. Dang it. No. The reason that anonymity on the internet is such an interesting equalizer is that it can help you remove bias from interactions, if that makes sense. Like if somebody says something that I agree with and I don't know who they are, then that helps me recognize something that I believe that I might be closed to if I knew who was saying it. And that's a double-edged sword, right? Why are troll farms so capable? Well, they figure out what a group wants to hear, and then they slowly push more and more extreme narratives until you've created a crazy cult-like group of people willing to commit political violence. On the other hand, that could also be used to break down prejudices, to combat problematic narratives. There's, it can help and it can hurt in kind of equal measure. Maybe not equal measure though, is the problem. Maybe it's easier to hurt than help using anonymity. But you see what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of being verified is really cool, but I think the problem comes when you're still able to make a fake account and get fake people to fake verify you. So like that's where the multiple methods come in, right? It's not just, oh, I paid $300 to have somebody make 10,000 accounts and have all of them verify me and make me look super authoritative. But the nuance of like this person is verified by, you know, X number of people that you have already verified yourself. You know, that added layer is interesting. Yeah, because then you can make trust decisions based on that sort of information. I think, again, where it falls apart, though, is what about people with disproportionate social impact making statements they shouldn't make? Tucker Carlson, what? You know, how do you deal with that kind of problem? And I don't know. I don't know that verification would fix that. But then again, maybe it's not meant to, because Tucker Carlson is actually Tucker Carlson, unless he's not, you know, maybe he's actually just two raccoons who got rabies and put on a business suit.
Yeah. There's definitely issues with modern social media that this wouldn't solve. And I also don't think that it would work well to like apply it to existing social media. I think that this would be like a new, different thing. So like still let Reddit be Reddit, let Facebook be Facebook. Those are kind of two extremes. And then this would be something in the middle, in my opinion. Because Facebook is already like prioritizing what your friends are doing. Sinus Relief said that this sounds like Reddit with a slight modification to Karma. I think that's a super fair comparison. I think it's a little bit different in the extreme cases. So Reddit Karma, anytime someone upvotes some like a comment or a post that you make, you gain karma, and anytime someone downvotes it, you lose karma. You end up with some accounts that are run by large groups to just like maximize karma. There's one account in particular with an obscene name that I won't say, that is like a moderator on 50 different subreddits and just has more karma than anyone else ever has. And it's pretty clear from watching what they do that it is a group of people running it. It's not an individual. So with this like personal certification thing, I don't think you would have that same extreme case. Hopefully. I don't know. But overall, I do think it's really similar. Like when you look at someone's karma on Reddit or on like Stack Overflow or whatever, any site that uses karma, you like have an initial impulse about like, or an initial signal about whether you can trust them or not. And this would act in kind of the same way. Yeah, that feels different to me, but I can't verbalize why. As far as what you said, Jared, about like having, like hiring someone to make 10,000 bots and have them all verify you or certify you. One of the cool things about like a distributed certification system is I think it's easier to see patterns like that. Like you could quickly tell by just like looking at the network of who has certified who. You could say, oh, these people are all certifying each other, but no one outside seems to know who they are.
Yeah.
Which you can kind of do with current social media, but I think it's easier. You could also say like, oh, Jared has certified these 10 people, and now this obvious bot that is just trying to sell me bad soap or whatever your bot is trying to do. Now I'm going to trust his 10 previous certifications a little bit less.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I haven't thought through this a ton, and I don't know all the details about like why this hasn't been done before. But I did want to bring up Discord as something that works kind of like this. I'm not a super avid Discord user. I mostly use it to talk to people that I already know, IRL. But Discord has a kind of similar thing where like you don't have a global network. Each server has rules about who can join and under what circumstances. I recently joined a server where anyone can join, but you can't see posts until you like message one of the mods on a different platform so that you can prove who you are, and then you get permission to like actually interact with the whole server. So it seems to me like Discord has some similar features, different implementation. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that. I think it's a cool idea. I hope one day we get to see a social media site try it at scale. Not because I am confident it will work, but I think that it would be a refreshing change in pace of the types of problems that it has.
choose what problems you're gonna have, and you know, see how it works. I like that. Berkeley, how deep do I need to go before I start getting iridium?
I think they can technically show up on every level, but the deeper you go, the more likely it is.
Okay.
Are you still mostly here for the Wizard's Quest?
I am, unless you want me to do something else.
No. If your motivation is just to get iridium, we are likely going to get a statue at the beginning of year 3 from Ghost Grandpa that gives us like 2 or 3 iridium ore every day.
Oh, wow.
For the rest of ever. So
hey, thanks, Grandpa.
Yeah. It depends on how well we did. He might decide we didn't deserve it.
Okay. Does that mean we don't get the opportunity to get it again?
If we don't get it by the beginning of year 3, then we can pay diamonds to his shrine and get like reevaluated.
Ah, the old bribe method.
So we still have to meet all of his qualifications. We can just like, we pay diamonds to extend the deadline, basically.
Grandson, you're not doing too well. But what about this diamond, Grandpa? And this one? And this one? Oh. I think I was a little hasty.
Jared, you told me you read an interesting book.
I did, yeah. It's, I believe it's called The Five Families by a guy named Selwyn Rabb. And it is about the history of the 5 main mafia families from New York. And it goes into the early history, kind of the genesis, if you will, of the organized crime in Sicily, which is where kind of the prototype for the mafia came from. And then how it came to America and what happened all the way up until 2005, which is when the book was released. And it's a really neat book, but you know, if you're interested in learning about what the mafia does, how they fell apart, there's a lot of transcriptions of FBI audio recordings and court sentencing stuff, all that in there. So it's really informative if you're interested in the history, but from a social or societal analysis perspective, it's also quite interesting because it shows how a pretty small group of people applied intimidation and violence and made a bunch of money while doing things that were clearly illegal, and didn't get caught until they became greedy and more greedy, I guess, and started murdering each other more than they were their rivals and the public. And I guess the part that really fascinates me from reading that is that all it takes is a community that's tight-knit enough to say no together and to back it up with force if necessary. And for some reason, you know, I guess I would think that in America, of all places, like the idea of a community that could band together and exercise their Second Amendment rights and just say, no, we're not going to tolerate this. You have to leave. We're going to report you to the police. And if you try to come here and commit violence, we're going to deal with you. That didn't happen in like, for some reason. And I guess there's a lot of other ways better ways to deal with the problem of organized crime before you get to the point where violence is necessary. But all of those stem, I feel like, from a connected community. So I guess my question and what I walked away from the book wondering is, what does it take to get there, to get to the point that organized crime can't thrive in your community? You know, how do you build a community that's so connected? And I think part of that, or the part that's easy for me to see that I've failed in, is knowing my neighbors. You know, I don't know who my neighbors are. I know one of my neighbors, and I've known them for 10 years, and I knew them for a long time before they became one of my neighbors. So, you know, that doesn't really count for me. But like knowing who's supposed to be there, who's not, who's well-intentioned, who's not, maybe that's the first step. But I guess, what do you guys think? Is it possible to get there? What would we need? I know some of y'all study sociology probably and know a little bit about maybe what would be required. So I'm curious what you guys
Jared,
think.
did you want to do another day?
Yeah, we can do one more.
Okay. Yeah, I'll give chat some time to answer. I do want to mention our cherry tree is fully grown now, so we should have one cherry per day that you can give away.
Excellent.
I've already harvested it, sorry, but I'll put them in the chest for you to give out as gifts. So we're with making friends with everyone in Stardew Valley. You can like target your gifts, try to give people stuff that they love. Or if you don't have the mental energy like we don't to keep track of what everyone loves, you can just give everyone fruit from fruit trees, and everyone likes all the fruit. There's a couple that people love, but that's how I've done it in the past when I wanted to get a full friendship with everyone. While chat chimes in on that, I just want to say thanks for like that framing. I hadn't thought of it that way before. Like when I think about organized crime, I think of police versus gangs, but like including the community as part of it, as like an agent in that equation is really interesting.
Yeah, it's an interesting challenge, and I don't want to be that guy who's like, well, the founding fathers, but I will say this. One of the most overlooked bits of our life in the society is that the government is a contract between the people and the government is there to protect the people. That's it. So how they do that, it leads to a bunch of different debates and whatever, but it's a construct. It's a social contract we all made with each other. But the government can't be everywhere all the time, but we are, right? We're people everywhere all the time with human connections, and those connections shape our society and kind of the overall behavioral trends within it, is my armchair theory about that. And so, yeah, I'm glad that was, I guess, insightful. It's something I think about a lot. Like, I don't know. The police, we don't have to go there, but it's an interesting idea that has very specific useful applications, and outside of that tends to be not so helpful. Berkeley, do you want to go to the ice festival? I think we missed it last year.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I am on my way.
Anyways, Five Families, great book if you have some time. It is about the mafia, so you can expect some violence and crude language, but the author does a good job of not digging too deep into the kind of lurid... How did that work? We came in from the town and suddenly we were coming in from our farm.
Don't worry about it. Oh, I forgot. Sorry, do you want to finish your sentence about...
No, it's good.
Megan in the chat let me know that there is a way to make your pathways not break. So if you lay down paths and then put grass starter on both sides, apparently the weeds will never break it.
Okay, we'll have to do that. Invest some time in getting that done.
Yeah, but of course I'm thinking about that now because we're at a festival and so I'll be locked in my house again. Have you checked recently how you're doing on friendship?
I haven't.
Do you like...
Let's take a look. Let me talk to all these people and then we'll do a quick check-in.
Cool.
George is always so grumpy. Come on, man. Maybe he has chronic pain or something. Also, this woodpecker pecking at the air. That's pretty hilarious.
Oh, I missed that. Where is that?
On my screen in the top left, there's a woodpecker perched on nothing, pecking nothing.
That's amazing. Oh, maybe you should stand closer to it because sometime, well, our faces cover the top left of your screen.
Oh, it flew away.
Oh, rats.
Anyways, you probably got a glimpse of it as I was walking over there. If not, go watch the recording. It's worth it, I promise. Gus says, sorry, there's no food. It's okay, Gus. You don't have to work all the time. What?
In this igloo here, the traveling cart lady is selling some pumpkin soup, which has +2 luck and +2 defense. That might be helpful for a
mine run.
Go cavern run.
Yeah.
I think we should get some.
Yeah.
It's 250 each. Maybe we can get like 8.
Yeah. Okay, I just want to highlight something that's cool. So, my whole life, I've had this stuffed animal. It's not really an animal. It's a snowman. And there's an animated film called The Snowman. I think it was originally German. It's got this beautiful soundtrack and is about this kid on Christmas Eve who, thinks that he wakes up and his snowman is alive and comes and takes him and flies him, across this beautiful winter landscape all the way up to the North Pole, and he gets to party with the snowman, and I think Santa's involved. It's been a while since I watched it, but this little snowman here with the green hat, the orange nose, and the little scarf, you can hardly see the scarf, looks like it's modeled after that. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. There's a beautiful, my favorite piece from the soundtrack is called Walking in the Air, and I love it. It's been a part of my life for a long time, and it's quality media.
Nice. Thanks for the recommendation. I found Linus way off in the corner, and he just gave me a crazy dialogue. He says, igloo buildings and art I picked up from the tundra dwellers who live beyond the frozen sea.
What?
I want to know his backstory.
Where is he? I gotta see this.
He's over by the wizard's house.
Where's the wizard? That is a good question.
Probably in his house.
He doesn't come out for this one.
Also, I was only able to buy 1 of the pumpkin soups. So if you want to try to buy one, then we would have 2.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
I love the stage of the game that we're in right now. Hopefully it's interesting for everyone else, but just, we've got the community center done. We've got some big objectives ahead of us, but they're not super thought intensive. Like tracking down every minute item for the community center was. I don't know. I like the routine. Let's just talk more.
Yeah, and it's nice to not have to frantically strategize to optimize the run at this point.
Not that we were ever great at that, but we did put effort in.
Okay, I was able to get 1 as well.
Cool.
All right, let's check friendship levels. Okay, Linus, we're maxed out.
Nice.
Caroline 4, Pam 4, Clint 4, Lewis 3, Robin 3, Kent 3, Evelyn 3, George 3, Demetrius 3, Pierre 3, Willie 2, Vincent 2, Marnie 2, Jody 2, Jazz 2, Wizard 2, Gus 2, Maru 1, Penny 1, Sandy 1, Emily 1, Alex 1, Elliot 1, Abigail 1, Haley 1, Harvey 0, Sebastian 0, Leah 0, Sam 0, Shane 0, Dwarf 0, Krobus 0. That's the tally.
All right. It's a lot of zeros, a lot of low numbers.
We'll get there.
Got a ways to go, but slow and steady. We'll get there.
All right. Do we do the fishing portion or do we just peace out?
Yeah, let's do the fishing.
Okay.
You might get a cool hat.
How do I start it?
You talk to Lewis.
He says the highlight of today's festival is the ice fishing competition. We set up this frozen lake and stocked it full of fish. Just let me know when you're ready to compete. How do I let him know? Are you ready? Oh, I have to right click him. Yes. Fish. It's fish time.
Do it. I feel like we did do this last year and we failed to win. Maybe I'm misremembering.
I don't know. I thought we missed it last year, but who knows?
Well, if this whole thing doesn't look familiar to you, then we probably missed it.
Yeah.
I'm probably thinking of a different playthrough.
It does look brand new. As many fish as you can in 2 minutes with the provided rods. Catch your fish here from these holes in the ice. Let's do it.
Oh, I cast too far. I've got my audio off. Is there any good music playing right now?
I don't think so, but it's pretty quiet on my system as well, so I don't know.
Well, I hope there's something good going on.
So the person to beat is Willie, I'm assuming.
Willie or Pam, actually? I feel like it might be Pam.
Pam's got a secret fishing talent.
There is an episode of King of the Hill where Hank Hill finds some new bait that just works super well and everyone is like amazed by it. It turns out he had accidentally bought like crack or something, some drug, and was using that as bait, and the fish loved it.
That's pretty funny.
So maybe that's what Pam's doing.
I don't know if this is true, but I was always heard as a kid that WD-40 was great for like attracting fish, but really bad for them. Never tried it, obviously.
Yeah, you get some cost benefit analysis there, because like if it makes it way easier to catch the fish, but then the fish is lightly poisonous, what do you do with that?
I think the bigger problem comes when everybody starts doing it and then the lake becomes slightly poisonous.
Yeah. That's the plot of the game Fallout, right?
Yeah, that's...
I wasn't paying super close attention to the beginning, but I think it was from like irresponsible fishers.
Yeah, the big explosion at the beginning was from a lake that was too full of WD-40 and combusted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh man, I just got one on the hook. I think I only got 4.
I think I got 3. That was really bad. I kept catching algae. Feels unfair.
Look at these boxes of fish. There's only 4 boxes, but there are 5 participants. Wow, that's a lot of fish, says you, Mayor Lewis. Gag, the smell. Okay. Why can't you show some respect to my trade? Who wins? Let's see. Did you already see the winner?
Yeah, sorry, I'm going too fast.
I won? What?
Congrats.
Thanks. Here's your prize. Enjoy. Sailor's cap, very cool. A spinner, a hook, and a magnet. Great. Thank you. Oh, it's catch and release. How cool.
I just got a notification. I didn't win the competition, but it was still fun. Time to head home. I feel like I as the player should get to choose how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Like when my avatar is telling me that it was fun, that's when you know it was not.
It feels less fun, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All right. Let me sell this stuff.
I never do that. And people sent me a lot of good stuff.
Okay. Okay. I am going to... Should I start making a path? Oh, you have a way free. Okay.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, cool.
Before we end the stream, could you just peek in the shed and show off our progress?
Yeah. I forgot we had this. I've been a man about town lately. Whoa. Nice. Did we look into whether we could put a keg here between the end kegs so we have like a layer?
Oh, I can't remember. Feel like that should be valid. I'll check on a different save and when where tools are allowed.
Okay.
I'll put
Yeah.
some in that spot and see.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're starting a bootlegging operation. Speaking of the mafia. So
yeah, and the starfruit is already making more money than it costs, so we should have no problem. When we first started with the starfruit, I wasn't sure if we'd be able to afford seeds all the times that we wanted.
yeah.
But now we're flush. We should have no problem keeping
Excellent.
those seeds stocked. I forgot to sell some stuff.
Okay.
Sorry.
Well, it's all good. I get to look at the fish some more. Look at them swimming around.
That was a great decision. They're so lovely.
I wish I could have this, like the full tank as my desktop background. You know, just animated, swimming around.
Okay, well that was a good session. We got some more kegs, sold some starfruit, and caught a legendary fish. Pretty good.
Yeah, making tangible progress, especially on the financial side. We're going to be just drowning in cash before we know it.
Yeah, the obelisks and the golden clock together cost like 20 million. So
Wow.
Still got a ways to go. We've made 1.1 million total.
I got a Nerdium bar, Berkeley.
Oh, hey, where'd you get that?
I smelted it.
Good job.
Thanks.
Does Rasmodius want it? Or Asmodeus?
Yeah, he does. It is Rasmodius, by the way. And yeah, he does want it. I'll give it to him next time.
Okay.
Everybody, thanks for coming out. It's been another great stream. We love talking with you. We love talking to each other, too. Shout out to you, Berkeley, for being here.
Oh, thanks.
If you want to hear more of us, you can go to the About page of our Twitch or check the description of this YouTube video or the bio of our Instagram and find our Linktree link, which will take you to one of the other places you haven't seen us yet. And you can follow us there too.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.